Hello everyone and welcome to NMH at 1. Replacing Priska Anyolo, who's living life in Dubai, I am Aurelia Samuyenga. Stay tuned for a recap of today's current events and headlines. On Mondays, we share the latest available COVID-19 data for Namibia in our daily barometer. By Friday, total cases reported since March last year numbered 127,804, with 557 new cases confirmed during the past 7-day cycle. This means Namibia on average records 82 cases per day. During the same period, another 426 positive cases were cleared and added to the overall recoveries, which remain at 96%. 24 fatalities were recorded during this cycle and an average of 3 deaths per day. More than 190,000 people have been fully vaccinated against the coronavirus, which represents 7.7% of the country's entire population. This number is 12.8% of the 1.5 million people health authorities aim to vaccinate to attain herd immunity. The number of people accommodated in official quarantine facilities dropped below 700 last Tuesday, the lowest number since December 2021. During the past 7-day cycle, 829 individuals entered these facilities, while 1,127 were discharged. COVID-19 data for Saturday will be announced later today. Please protect yourself and others and get vaccinated if there is stock at your closest facility. Join us again tomorrow at the same time for an overview of the daily averages of new cases of COVID-19 currently reported in Namibia. And as per usual, we bring you a number of video news clips from around the country. The Namibian police conducted crime prevention operation Resilient this past weekend. The force patrolled the whole of Windhoek. Commissioner Basson briefed the police before the operation. Here is a brief overview of Friday night's events submitted by Claudia Reiter.
We are going out there to make sure our people are safe. Our people are feeling protected. Not just feeling, but they are protected.
I did not sell anything after hours.
Let me ask you one question. Were the people consuming alcohol here after hours? Yes or no?
Sorry?
Were the people consuming alcohol here after hours? Yes or no?
I don't know if they were drinking.
Yes or no?
But they came in the house. Only can conclude in a health. Can I still? Hello? You must not take chances, huh? Are you having a license? And why are you taking chances? You are not closing, you only close here because we are here. Come, follow me.
To 12. But I can tell you that the behavior of people, it's relatively calm. Looking also in ever since we did not have a serious crime. Though yes, we have a report of rape or attempted rape. We had one attempted, and unfortunately the suspect ran away. An underage girl. It was an attempt. That is the serious crime that the only serious crime that we had so far. Otherwise, on the general behavior of our people, now that the alcohol is a little bit more freely available until 11 o'clock, so that means that we find more people under the influence for a longer period. into the night, up to if you happen to start close at 11, obviously you will find after 11 you'll still find people on the way from the bars, or some even try to go to the bars. But with regard to the crime, which is our main target, our main reason for being in the street, it's relatively quiet. With no serious crimes, no much of violence, nothing to be worried about. It's just the movement, the disregard of COVID and etc. But otherwise, in terms of crime, as a regional commander, I'm happy. I'm really happy. Equally so, the behavior of people, you find them, but probably I don't know whether they call it they are obeying. But once you see the police cars, they start running. So knowing that they are wrong or they are not supposed to be in the street, particularly after 11. So that is a good sign of compliance. Yes, it's a sign of compliance. People knows what is right and what is wrong. Whether they comply, that's another question for another day, probably.
Here alone, what? Better.
Yeah, everybody is going to jail.
Yeah, better. Let's go to jail, all of us now. Please, please. Just to say,
Inspector Eleni Shapumba's unit commander for community affairs in the Erongo region hosted a meeting with various security companies operating in the region following cash-in-transit robberies, the most recent being an almost $1 million Namibian theft. Leandra Lowe reports.
What can we do as police assist you? If we can, we are aware of Swapo. They monitor during the morning when people are going to pick up money. The police are monitoring because they have that duty roster. They are monitoring it because they have that relationship. Are we able also to negotiate or discuss with the station commanders and say, this time and this time around, we collect money from this point in time, maybe the police can do random patrols and check in those areas? Are we able to improve the numbers of people that are collecting money? Are we going to give them extra training so that they can be ready and be able to use the firearms when they have to use the firearms? As we speak, we have 2 firearms, or 1 firearm, because one was recovered in the hands of the criminals. That would have been used to protect the resources, but it fell into the wrong hands. And it will be used to rob other people as well. So these are things that we need to look at so that we can avoid them in the future or going forward. And hence we are talking about improvement. Under the deployment of personnel, there was a suggestion of change in duty roster. It cannot be the same person who collected money from January to December. That person is susceptible to influence. Remember, the criminals are having networks that they are operating from. There is a head office somewhere where people are recruiting people from different regions so that they can go and break in, so that they can go and rob people. And they create a sort of organization in which they recruit some of your workers, your personnel, to give them information. They promise them a certain amount of money, they work with them, following them. Therefore, we are suggesting to say that maybe we should change an aspect of deployment so that we cannot deploy the same person every day to do the collection of money. So that we check also the background of the person that we are deploying to handle the money. It's very true, when we check some of the points, some of the people that are recruited, yesterday they were grabbing a woman's wig at shop floor, today the person is in uniform. This is how we are advised to say that maybe let us do a screening before we recruit people. Of course, people must be given a job. We hope that they will improve when they get a job. But a snake remains a snake. When you bring him closer to money, what will happen? You just modify that person. He becomes a modified thief because he's now working under uniform. And you can hardly suspect that person. So what can we do as security companies together with police so that you can see that those that are deployed, you can see that those that are deployed are really people of integrity. And are not the ones that can be lured very quick by those that commit crimes.
Strike it gold and win 5,000 Namibian dollars in cash with Neo Paints. Simply buy Neo Paints products from the selected range and stand a chance to get one of 12 mystery buckets filled with gold paint. All 12 winners will each get 3 extra paint buckets equal to their purchase. One to replace the gold paint, the second to use on your project, and the third to give to a charity of their choice. One winner can score another 10,000 Namibian dollars by showing us your creative use of the golden paint. The best project wins the cash. Offer is valid from 27 September to 18 December at your favorite hardware store nationwide. Visit us at neopaints.com for more competition details and follow us on Facebook for weekly competition updates. Neo Paints, a coat of excellence.
And now moving on to our daily headlines. Namibian Sun reports that Swapo Vice President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has leapt to the defense of party leader Dr. Hage Geingob, saying his remarks telling Central Committee members to go to hell on Saturday were meant to cheer up the members. Republican reports that Namibia's fight and response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the first cases of which were recorded in March last year, cost the Ministry of Health and Social Services more than $1 billion Namibian dollars by the end of March this year. Allgemeine Zeitung reports that the Namibian SPCA has called for the recusal of EnviroLeap, the consultancy working to secure environmental approval for Tradeport, Namibia's plans to import thousands of South African sheep for export into Namibia for sea voyage via Lüderitz to the Middle East. The Namibian reports that President Hage Geingob has faced strong criticism for telling people to go to hell and attacking state organs such as the judiciary and the Electoral Commission. New Era reports that President Hage Geingob said he has noticed wavering Swapo members who are afraid to be identified as members of the party and are not wearing party colors. And moving on to the inside pages of the country's dailies. Namibian Sun reports that Namibia University of Science and Technology, Nust, last week suspended the head of its vocational education department on allegations that he might have played a role in the controversial student accommodation scandal that saw 52 students being evicted by a private landlord. Republican reports that despite strong evidence that restrictive abortion laws are unequally affecting needy black women, pro-choice activists are waging an uphill battle to meet with MPs to discuss Namibia's apartheid-era abortion law. According to Allgemeine Zeitung, the Namibian police force conducted Operation Resilient last weekend to prevent crime and ensure compliance with COVID-19 regulations by members of the public in the country's capital. The force patrolled the entire Windhoek urban area. According to the Namibian, Health Minister Kalumbi Shangula says Namibia is not among the 39 African countries that missed the World Health Organization's target to fully vaccinate 10% of their population against COVID-19 by 30 September. New Era reports that security companies doing cash-in-transit services in the Erongo region were told to beef up their security, manpower, and change their modus operandi as their current way of doing business makes them easy targets to criminals. And that is that for today. Have a lovely day and please stay safe. I'll see you again tomorrow at NMH at 1.